All right. Hello. There we go. Okay, so hello everyone. Today I bring you a. I was trying to record an unscripted video and kind of do the little segments as I went through it, but it's a pain in the ass. So I figured I'd bring you my thoughts on this issue, uh, stream of consciousness through the live stream tool. Sorry, excuse me. This beautiful tool that YouTube has given us all. Kind of just throw our ideas out there for some clickbaity, quote mining, soundbite grabbing gloriousness. So here's where we're at. I've been watching. Actually, holy fuck, we're smack on at the 1 hour 30-minute mark of this video, and well, now we get into some funny territory. I do quite like. I very much enjoy the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Been listening to them for quite a while now. Typically, I'm a-okay with Joe on a lot of issues. Don't agree on some. Hey, big deal. It's gonna happen. Wouldn't want to listen to him if I didn't. If I agreed with everything, I'd be sitting there listening to myself talk. Which, if you ask my family, they think I'd love to do that. But that's another topic for another day. What we have today is a discussion about the concept of how the whole white privilege thing is used against men to disadvantage them, and or white men, I should say, to disadvantage them, and how Joe takes a look at that. And of course, the topic of large scale Muslim immigration to Western countries like the US or Canada or, you know, different European nations. And if you don't know, there was a recent attack in Orly Airport in Paris, France, by a Muslim man, a radicalized Muslim, go figure, hashtag not all, who attempted to steal I don't know if it was a soldier or an officer. That they're kind of intermingled now in France because they have to have a military security detail level of containment around most of the country now. Most major cities. They're building a fucking wall around the Eiffel Tower because those darned extremists. But anyway, the man who tried to steal the security individual's gun actually is the same person suspected of shooting a female officer in the head not too long ago at a traffic stop. So only bringing in the best and brightest to this migration problem. Anyway, let's hear a little bit of what they have to say, and I'll give you my thoughts as to why I thought this was something I had to bring up as a live stream. I know I'm a little late on getting to this one. I kind of just filter through them as I have time. But here we go. Let's hear what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, we live in. I mean, things are.
Hot damn it! It's not gonna play through my desktop audio. 1 second. It always resets. I just want to go to my headphones. So let's take this back to like 2 seconds ago. Well, this will want to be 5 seconds ago. Let's just
Chaotic, or are chaotic now, but we live.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we live in. I mean, things are a bit chaotic, or are chaotic now, but we live in Disneyland compared to most of the world, and I think that's important for people to remember.
Absolutely agree. Compared to places like Syria and Iraq and most of the Middle East, we live in a wonderful, 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 wonderful corner of the world. And it would be a shame if anything, happened that forced the country to drastically change its core values and all these things that make it so great. The U.S. does have its share of amazing facets, as do I think Canada's got some pretty A-OK. Huh? A-OK? Oh, fuck it. Anyway, got some A-OK ideas of our own. But let's see how this gets played out.
For sure. But the problem is those people that are over there in non-Disneyland, they're just like you or I. They just got a shitty roll of the dice.
They sure did. They are people just like yourself or myself, Joe, just like Phil, except that a lot of them believe that homosexuality is an unacceptable lifestyle choice and that it's okay to throw gays off buildings in many of these countries, okay to execute people for homosexuality, and that women's rights have to be cordoned off and restricted and so on and so forth. But you touch on that later, so let's keep rolling along.
That's what's fucked. And that's what's fucked up about this whole refugee thing. Like this idea that somehow or another, if someone's a Muslim, you can keep them from coming into this country. Like, man, I know a lot of Muslims and they're nice people.
Yep. I understand where you're going with this one, Joe, but just because you know a lot of people, you are good. The video volume. Okay, Nightbot is dead. Nightbot's not dead. He'll probably be back. They fuck goats. Can't blame dice for that. Yeah, so roll the dice, poker hands. I will turn this video on up. Nah, desktop audio is cranked. So I'm gonna lower my own audio, and you might just have to kind of pump your own audio up a bit. So I'm gonna keep talking until I see myself come to around half. There you go. All right, so I've dropped this down to minus 10.4 decibels, whatever. You'll want to crank your own volume at this point, and it should level out with the video. But anyway, just like you or I would have gotten a bad roll of the dice. Sort of. Just like you and I in the fact that they're human, absolutely, Joe. They are human beings just like the rest of us. 2 arms, 2 legs for the most part, unless they've been blown off by landmines or birth defects. That's fine. I get that. You get those little, sections of the population. But the point here is volume is inaudible. All right, then. I will turn my own audio back up. Is my audio now okay? I cannot make the... Actually, I can probably bring the gain up on my... This one Mozilla Firefox sounds. Okay, so let's try this.
You can't, just because someone believes...
Okay, I can now hear that there. Mucho butt hair. Okay. So here we go. Yes, same overall. We're all people. We all have issues, but one group comes from some seriously back-asswards ideologies and cultural norms, and the other group is super fucking tolerant of all these different cultures and has all these problems now with, oh, well, it's just their culture. You can't really criticize it, and yada, yada, yada. So let's see where Joe Rogan wants to take us on this one.
Wacky shit, okay? Whether they're Moonies or whether they're Mormons, I know some really nice Mormons. Mm-hmm. They're fucking great people. If you said, should you get rid of them? I'd say, no, you don't listen to them. You don't really get a planet when you die.
Right.
You don't have to wear the magic underwear, but they're nice folks.
Exactly. Yeah, they can be nice people, but, they've got some weird, fucked up beliefs. The only difference is here that the furthest that people have taken the whole Mormon theology and that in recent years has been the polygamist, bigamist sects that you see in Utah and other places in the States. Was it Warren Jeffs? I think Warren Jeffs was the guy's name a little while ago. So, that's been a bit of a problem. Child abuse is a thing there, some very questionable sexual conduct. So yeah, that's a problem. And just like that sort of sexual exploitation can become a problem in the extreme levels of the spin-off, I suppose, of the Mormon ideology, you get some, as Zero Fucks Given has said, Mormons don't tend to blow themselves up or rape a lot or commit crime or use an ideology telling them to kill non-believers. The rape a lot thing can be a bit different. That's where you get into the whole child sexual exploitation and abuse. That would be rape. But again, a lot? No, not a lot. I would not say that. There's definitely a higher population of Muslims committing violent acts or raping or criminal acts in Western countries than there are these Mormons abusing children. So let's roll along here.
I know people that believe nutty shit. One of my best friends believes that the fucking government is spraying things out of the back of planes. Mm-hmm. When you see those contrails in the sky, he thinks it's what does he call this? Strategic aerosol injection? It's an SAI program. Mm-hmm. No, it's not.
Yes, and you should have the exact same reaction to, Ahmed down the road who thinks that, no, it's perfectly okay that I should want my, my daughters and wife to be completely covered head to toe whenever they go outside of the house, and that I should be able to kill them because, they're becoming too westernized, like the family here in Ontario that was the 4 women, the mother and 3 girls, who were murdered because, they were becoming too westernized, and the husband and brother disagreed with this. So they killed them. They rammed their car off of off the bridge or over, a pass into the water, and they all drowned and died. You should have the same reaction to both. The problem is that you want to bring in people from from a culture who has an ideological set of ideas. They have these values that just do not and cannot line up. They cannot coexist with modern Western values. Can't do it. All right? You cannot take somebody who opposes gay marriage, opposes homosexuality just as a on principle. Oh, no. You can't be homosexual. You should be punished, stoned to death or whatever for engaging in homosexual acts. You can't take that person and integrate them immediately into Western society. There's going to be some fucking culture shock, and that is usually not dealt with well by Muslims. Anyways, let's move on and hear what Joe's got to say going on from here.
I love them. There's a lot of people that believe some ridiculous shit, and they need the opportunity, just like all of us do, to have peace and prosperity, and to have the opportunity to take in more information that may make you reconsider your belief system.
Yeah, Joe, maybe you just need some more information to help you reevaluate your belief system. That might be a really good starting block. Okay, maybe the information about the level of inbreeding in Pakistanis in Britain. Actually, you happen to know this because you had Gavin McInnes on your podcast. I will probably be able to roll on down here. Yeah, two podcasts before this one on number 920, and I do happen to remember him pointing out to you the ridiculousness of the ideologies of these people who are coming in from Muslim majority nations and completely fucking up places like Europe and creating essentially miniature colonies. I've brought up the concept of the idea of what I call microcolonization or microcolonialism. And it happens whenever you have a massive influx of refugees from a specific region of the world. They tend to group together into small enclaves and preserve their own way of thinking. They insulate themselves, and that's where you get these Muslim enclaves, like in Carl. I know you're in the chat there. I can see you there. Was it Molenbeek? Was the one it's a Muslim neighborhood near Belgium, where one of the Belgium airport bombing suspects was able to hide out there and be basically sheltered from the authorities by his Muslim neighbors because they thought it was okay to, no, you got to cover for him. He's one of us. Bring him in. No, don't tell the cops he's here. Don't report him. I can tell you right now, if somebody like the asshole Alexandre Bissonnette, all right, the guy that shot up the Quebec City Mosque was like, hey man, I get it, you're white, can I hide out here? The cops are on my ass. I'd be like, yeah, sure, you can hide out in the basement. I'll make sure they don't know you're here. 2 seconds later, I'd be ringing that fucking phone to call the cops. Like, yeah, no, we got him downstairs in the fucking storage room. He's locked up in there like an idiot. It's great. So anyway, month wasn't that? Yeah, he was there for fucking ever, and then he finally he was heading out south to fucking might have been another one. There's just too many fucking. This is the problem when there are too many attacks for me to fucking manage. Keep control of all of them in my head and figure out which ones were which. That's kind of a problem. Anyway. Yeah, so they're covering for people who've committed atrocious acts. There are so many of them who believe that attacking U.S. citizens, U.S. civilians on U.S. soil is perfectly okay. Joe, you might be the one who needs more information, all right, to counter and change your belief system. Anyway, I've been rambling on this point long enough. Let's move on, roll the video a little longer.
I feel like when it comes to the immigration thing, there's people on two fronts, right? There's one as far as general immigration, people coming through legally from countries, and then there's also the refugee program.
Large picture have a problem with neither one of these. I understand helping out refugees with the aim of resettling them in their home areas after the conflict has passed. I understand the humanitarian urge to do something like that, and I do support that. I've actually done videos on how I believe that these instances could better be managed in the future. And I understand, legal, standard by the book immigration. Perfectly fine. As long as you're, reviewing people coming in, that's a good thing. You're usually bringing in people who are, skilled in the jobs that you need. The old best and brightest argument. Yeah, we bring in the best and brightest from other nations to improve places that we lack. It's a stopgap measure, or best use a stopgap measure for the time it takes you to train your own people to do it, right? Bring in people from other places that are already good at it to fill some of those jobs. But yeah, man, sometimes there's this whole third aspect of illegal immigration and bringing in people from incompatible cultural belief systems. Let's let Philly D roll this on.
Right. And so what I've seen is a lot of arguments of, okay, so you're saying that, you know, these people are displaced. They're having to go through all these horrible things. People are saying, why is that my problem? Is it
And very rightfully so. Average American citizen is not responsible for the shit that's going on in these dog shit countries. Like, it's not their problem. It is not their problem. It's not their fault. They didn't do it. All right? If I don't fuck something up, I don't expect to be responsible for it fucking up. All right? There's this meme of this little stick figure walks up and hands this little box titled Civilization to a brown colored other stick figure, and it's like, okay, here, hold on to this for a second. Walks away. The box just lights on fire. The guy comes back to, what the fuck did you do? And he goes, this is your fault. And it's like, you know, the brown skinned, I guess the brown colored in stick figure goes, no, this is your fault. Da, 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 da. Tangentially, it applies here. You're looking at something that somebody has a problem that you did not cause, and then they're blaming you for it, and you're expected to take the fucking weight for it. No, it doesn't work that way. All right, you fuck up, you deal with your own situation. I fuck up, I deal with my situation. All right, that's it. Anyway, Philly, let's roll it, buddy.
because America is the land of dreams, and we should offer that because we're great? Why should that? And then once again, not my argument, but why is that taking precedent over me, who's you know, I went to college, things haven't worked out, my life's fucking in shambles, I have people yelling that I have white privilege all the time, and the fucking seems like the world's more and more against me every day. Why, if and in their head,
First
like
of
all
all,
these people.
And here we are. So Phil is going somewhere with this, and I don't think we'll ever get to know where he was trying to get to because Joe's cut him off here for his own statements about the whole white privilege or white male privilege thing. Philly seems to be going in a solid direction for the whole, yeah, you know what? Yeah, there are people who's like, yeah, my life is shit, right? I went to college, I studied something that was perfectly applicable, and I still can't get a job because the job market sucks and we're not putting any kind of focus on ourselves. And then we're throwing all this money away to help people who aren't even in our country and for whom we are not responsible. Why is that somehow an invalid position? Yes, I would like to help people inside my country before I help people outside my country. I would like to mow my own lawn before I go to help my neighbor. I'm gonna shovel my own driveway before I shovel my neighbor's driveway. Why? Because you gotta deal with your own shit first. But anyway, here's Joe's take on the whole what it's like to be disadvantaged due to corporate and government policymaking to instill quotas and different treatment of you because you may be white, straight, male, so on and so forth.
Are a risk.
Let me
right?
stop right there.
Yeah.
For that guy, I got 3 words.
Oh yeah, laugh it up, Philly. This will be good. Joe's known for his eloquent speeches and then how to put this all together.
What's
Go
that?
fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's Joe. If you've been denied a position because repeatedly, even because quotas didn't allow somebody of your, we didn't want your, you don't serve your kind here, boy.
And then 4 words. Suck it up, pussy.
Yeah, 14 words, not 3, 14. On that note, Joe, I think white men have, and men in general, I should say, have been sucking it up for a good long time now. If you look at things like, oh, I don't know, war, the most dangerous professions on the face of the, deep sea oil fucking rig, whatever, drilling, sewage maintenance jobs, all these jobs that, women just, well, you always hear about we want more women CEOs, you never hear about we want more women sewage workers. All right, the disparity is pretty heavy there.
Jesus Christ.
And yes, says Joe, who has fuck you levels of money. Yeah, the guy's famous. He gets to do all his fight podcast things. He's got the Joe Rogan experience. He has his career from comedy and shit. Yeah, he's doing jobs that everybody else wishes they could fucking do because it'd be a fucking do nothing job compared to the hard ass work that most people have to put in. But yeah, I have the same issue, and I'll bring it up later about who is expected to house these refugees, these immigrants and whatnot. Oh, I know. Joe could stop now, but he doesn't. All right? Joe could absolutely just stop here and just fucking try and walk it back. But that wouldn't be Joe.
You get people calling you have white privilege. You freaking out. You're in America, bitch. If things aren't going well, work harder, figure it out. You're a white guy in America. You're so lucky.
Right.
Are you finding shit to complain about?
But
yeah,
so
look, everybody has their own.
And Phil's trying to get in here because I think Phil legitimately understands. All right. Yeah, I guess Joe, and he's gonna have some extra house space. Phil understands that where these issues are coming from. All right. He's in the main alternative. He's a part of alternative media, if you will. He's engaged with a lot of people who've covered these topics. They had a huge stream after the whole Felix Schellberg thing, the PewDiePie. And they do discuss PewDiePie earlier on in the video. They understand that there's a lot of this, hit piece type journalism, if you will, the BuzzFeeds and the fucking Wall Street Journals and shit doing all this crap. So yeah, Phil's probably trying to get in here going like, no, but like, dude, they're actually putting in place these policies to fuck up things, for guys who are straight, white, and male, because it's just not PC to hire them anymore. So yeah, let's keep rolling this one. Joe's got to interrupt and quell that conflicting opinion real fucking quick.
And that they're dealt, right? And some people are in impoverished fucking coal miner communities in West Virginia, and some people are born in Marin County with a fucking silver spoon in their mouth.
Some people are going to get 2-to-1 university acceptance odds because they got a fucking innie, not an outie, when it comes to their junk.
Granted, we're all aware of that. But if you don't think that your opportunities are far greater because you live in America than they are if you're a Syrian refugee coming over here wrapped up in a fucking tent, you're crazy.
And this is where Joe drops the big old false dichotomy. All right, he's got this whole thing where he's like, "Oh yeah, man, if you think if you're a straight white male in America, hey man, fuck it, you're not a Syrian refugee." Well, there's a bit of a gradient there, Joe. There's a bit of a sliding scale. I'm not surprised. I'm not fucking surprised at all with this sort of outlook on things. All right, Joe's gonna look at this because again, he's got fuck off levels of money. All right, he's not hurting. All right, if they resettle some troublesome refugees, they're not going to be resettling into his. Yeah, we all know the women love to marry down, even women who are extremely well off, well to do, very high end professional ladies. They still want to marry up. They still got to go up a level. So anyway, let's keep this rolling. But yeah, Joe, let's see what else you have to say here.
You're crazy, and one of the things that makes this place so fucking special.
Makes this place so fucking special. Keep that as the roll in, but I forgot to mention, yeah, the false dichotomy. Oh yeah, it's you're either this or you're that. You're either the fucking privileged white male, at least you're not a Syrian refugee from fucking war-torn Aleppo. Fuck you. Yeah, guess what? Guess what, Joe? There's some other options there. All right. Why is it then okay, fine? You know what you could say to that same thing? You could put it forward as, oh look, you're some like minority, minority sexuality, trans black, non-transitioning, gender fluid black, trans black woman, whatever. Yeah, guess what? You're gonna get the opportunity to get hired somewhere because, oh look, you're a diversity hire, which means we don't think you could do this on your own. You can't just work harder and not be suck it up and not be pussy. So we're just gonna give you a goddamn fucking spot here. All right? No, we get it. There are other people more qualified than you. No worries. We're gonna slap them to the side and stick you in this job because fuck it, man. We've got a quota to meet. All right, that fucking the female firefighter who fails, and they've had to realign the weighting because you can't have it all in the physical testing and all in the practical job test, the actual full on run up the fucking ladder with a fire hose. We can't do all of this kind of shit because oh no, it's making it harder for women to get in. You know what? People could fucking die. All right, because of some quota hires in the government. The military is starting into it. Oh yeah, no, we got to increase the female numbers on the front lines. Firefighters, oh no, we got to have more female fire department members because reasons, because vagina. Fuck's sake, man. I remember watching this video. There was this average dude, just like pretty fit, versus this woman who was like a female firefighter, and they had to knock down a door. Like run at it, slam into it, and it was weighted, so like they had to hit it hard enough to like force this door in because someone might need to be fucking rescued. You know what? The guy just ran up to it, boom, threw on like one fucking shot. She took like 3 or 4 runs at it and could not make it happen. All right, couldn't get in, and she's a fucking firefighter, Joe. Someone's life could be on the other side of that door and she could make it through, but she's allowed to be a firefighter because vagina and reasons and quotas.
Is that it's the land of opportunity. As soon as you stop having it be the land of opportunity, you stop taking in those new people, you stop giving those people that opportunity, and then you make this place a different thing.
And there it is. You gotta leave the doors open, because otherwise you're not bringing them in. You're not, it's no longer the land of opportunity. Yeah, it is, Joe. Yeah, it is. It's still the land of opportunity for that last group of people you brought in. You are giving them the time they need to get settled, to acclimatize to a new culture, all right? To overcome the issue of culture shock that is so goddamn prevalent, to deal with all this shit, okay? It's the open, close, open, close, open, close. You open the doors, you bring a bunch in, you close the doors, you wait until it all settles, you wait until they fucking start acclimatizing, start assimilating, start getting used to the new culture they're in. And once you've got that done, what do? You open the doors again, you bring in some more, right? You bring in some more, you grow the population again, you bring in more, skilled people, preferably fucking skilled workers, and you grow. And you develop people. All right? You don't just throw the fucking doors open and rip the goddamn doors off and say, yeah, fuck it, there's a giant hole in the wall, come on in. All right? Because that's where you get this micro-colonialism, these enclaves, all right? These culturally insulated enclaves where it's perfectly okay to keep beating your women, or perfectly okay to keep fucking shrouding them in goddamn polyester garbage bag garments. And it's okay to beat them and to fucking kill them if they don't obey you. Joe. All right. Normally, microcolonialism happens when you see, like, Chinatown or Little Odessa or Little Italy. Like, you can just see a very distinct cultural lean or cultural take, new take on the Americanized, on Americana, if you will. And that's it. Oh, it's like, they still have all these, American amenities, but it's mostly Chinese here. It's, the Chinatown kind of thing. And they have their own traditions and shops and shit. But goddamn, man, it's not that simple when it comes to cultures who believe radically different things. All right, absolute black and white, fucking stark contrast, beliefs to what is the vast majority in Western nations. Fuck. Okay, rolling more of this because I gotta get through this, and it's almost a half hour, and I was trying to keep this fucking short, and this is just not gonna happen because this brings just so much, just bubbles all up inside of me. Fuck.
You make this place this secluded, isolated, put the fence up, put the wall up, everybody in is in, everybody else could go fuck themselves. That's not what it is.
Right.
You're changing what it is. This is the land of opportunity. This is a country that was founded entirely by immigrants who killed the natives.
Who killed the natives? Really quickly on this point, because again, I'm not going to get off in the weeds on this, but really fucking quickly, Joe, do you think that that native cultures and that tribes fought amongst other tribes? Do you think there was ever a tribe there were tribes or tribe, singular or plural, that were eliminated by other tribes prior to the arrival of Europeans? Do you not believe that, peoples were able, and I see peoples as different, not fucking up my words here, peoples, cultures, tribes, if you will, fought amongst one another and ultimately eliminated either by breeding out or by killing off, other tribes wholesale? Of course it happens. Natives killed natives. Natives fought over fucking control of land, hunting rights, whatever. They understood these things. Oh, the Europeans just robbed the natives of all this land. No, they didn't understand land ownership. They were societies that understood bartering because they traded for things of different values with other tribes, and they were people that understood land territorial holdings. So you can't tell me that groups of people who understand these two concepts cannot understand. They may not believe in it, but they cannot understand those two concepts merged. All right, that don't fucking happen. God damn, Joe. But Europeans are getting the shit end of the stick, or getting beaten over the head with this because they were better at doing something the natives already did. And that resulted in more deaths on the other side. That's it, Joe. That's it. Do you criticize another fighter in the cage because he beats the crap out of the other fighter? You go, no, guy won the fucking fight. All right, there it is. Move on.
But that's
Maybe that's what they're
we
scared
are.
of.
Well, there's certainly good and bad to
Right.
all forms of immigration, and
here we go, and we'll start to see this. He starts going full circle. So remember, he's going off on getting real pissed off on the whole you can't say immigrants can't come in kind of thing. You can't prohibit people coming in from these parts of the world. But now listen.
there's certainly good and bad to cultural integration. Cultural integration is where things get really problematic, especially
And fuck, I hate that word.
for women. For women and women that have dealt with all the horrific situations that have happened in all these European countries where
And in North American countries, again, I mentioned honor killings here, Joe.
Muslims have come in and the radical ones have wanted to enforce their ideas, the Sharia law ideas, on the women in the area, and they see women walking around in miniskirts and all that stuff.
And raping the kids at pools and sexual assault across Sweden and grenade attacks and that thing that happened in Sweden last night that nobody wanted to talk about, and it was just probably another couple dozen rapes, but because it wasn't that last night specifically, no one wanted to talk about it. It was that whole grenade attack right after Donald Trump's remarks. It's like the guy knew shit was going on in Sweden. Everyone knows it. They're just trying to fucking deny it. But yeah, Joe, let's hear some more from the guy who thinks we should let all these people in about the people we shouldn't be letting in.
Is a real problem. The integration of cultural norms and values into a Western society that has just a completely different idea of what's acceptable and not acceptable. That's going to take some fucking time.
Yes, Joe, it's going to take some fucking time, as you put it. But the problem is that you got to close the doors in that period of time to make it happen. All right? Well, if you keep the doors open, these cultural enclaves get larger and larger. These areas that are insulated from outside impact are just growing and growing and growing. How do you not see that, Joe? How does it not immediately get in your head like, oh yeah, I've seen Chinatown, I've seen Little Odessa, I've seen, Little Italy. I see where these, I see that people from different cultures kind of group together when they can, and no, that couldn't possibly be a problem with people from Muslim majority nations who think it's okay to kill gays and subjugate their women and all the rest of this shit. No, that couldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah.
And if I was in that area, I'd get the fuck out of Dodge. I would not want to be around if there's a culture war going on.
If I was in those areas, I would get the fuck out of Dodge. If you were in those areas. So we know, all right, Joe, that we're not dealing with somebody in you, at least, you're not in those areas. You, Mr. I've got money, I've got success in my life. Yeah, you had to work for it when you were getting started in your comedy days and before that fucking radio show and whatnot. You really had to bust your ass to make ends meet. I understand that. Now imagine still being in that place in your life, but now, all right, it's even harder to get work because they're literally saying, "Oh no, if you're a straight white male, you can't work. We gotta have hire this many other people, before we hire you. Oh well, what if those people don't apply? Well, I guess you're fucking waiting still. Like, goddamn, Joe, it's the J.K. Rowling saying, or Rowling, or the fuck you pronounce her name, going, oh, Britain's not doing enough. They're not doing enough. What, for the refugees? Oh, they're not doing enough for the migrants. It's horrible. All right, well, you got like multiple houses, mansions of like 16 bedrooms. Why don't you just fucking bring in families by your lonesome? All to yourself. Bring them in. You got the room to house them. Fuck, man. Like, yeah, give them money, make no demands for integration. Always works. Works every fucking time. 60% of the time, it works every time. Damn right, zero fucks given. I usually have my chat up on screen here, but this was not a prepared stream. I just fucking got onto this kick and started losing my shit.
People are fighting and arguing over ideas that may or may not include your wife, your daughter, your mother. That's too dangerous.
So then you would have a lot of those same people that I talk about saying, well, why the fuck should I have to move because we're this thing?
You can't.
There it is. And Phil goes, yeah, it's not my argument, but, like, he's got to fucking seclude himself from it. He's got to put up the buffer there and go, well, it's not my argument, but, hey, why ain't some of these people who are like, yeah, why the fuck do I have to deal with the culture war? Like, why aren't you doing it? Like, goddamn, like, Phil's sitting there like, yeah, man, but, like, you just said it. Why do these people have to deal with that dog shit arrangement? Why do politicians and fucking celebrities get to bring all these people in and settle them next to all these people who have very different, values, who actually believe in Western values, and they've now got to deal with like their daughters being raped. Like, look at Rotherham. Was it 1,400 underage British girls were fucking molested and groomed by Pakistani fucking rape and grooming gangs because the police were like, oh, we can't say anything because the people doing it all are brown and, well, damn, they don't want to be called a racist. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. All right? If, and no offense to my American viewers, but for fuck's sakes, if like Americans started coming up into the US and started trying to invade the place, all right, and try to like capture Canada, and let's like Russia or like England was taking all these like Canadian women and children, refugees and shit, like from war-torn Toronto, like exactly as you're about I'm not gonna be sitting there like I'm getting the fuck out of here. I am going back. I don't care if it's just me holding like my fucking house. I'm like, no, this is mine. You can't just come in here. Fuck you. All right, or like Alberta or something wanted to try and fucking cause shit with the rest of the country, or goddamn people from Quebec start rolling into Ontario trying to take over the place. I'm not running. Like, fuck you. You know what? No, I'm going to the fucking, that local recruiting office. Be like, yeah, like slap me up in a uniform. I'm gonna fucking fight for this shit. I actually value my country enough that if someone were to come in here and try and fucking take it over, I would shoot back. Stick around a while. Maybe throw the people, the odds of numbers in the other direction. Who knows? Fucking hell. Yeah, toothpick, bubblegum, and cheese grater. The question is, do you have a toothpick pack that can carry more than 10 toothpicks at a time? That'd be some high capacity toothpick shit right there. We couldn't handle that. Goddamn, Carl. Carl's here saying like, I'll invade Canada myself. Just a toothpick, bubblegum, and a cheese grater. I'm like, fuck, probably manage it. Goddamn.
Let that happen in America. That is a different thing. But that's the problem. You cannot let that happen in America. If you get people that are coming, you have to have a no tolerance policy to anyone that's giving anyone a hard time over accepted values in America.
So so there you go. Look at this. You have to just say absolutely not. No, 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 no. To anyone who's going to do this shit, because they don't agree with values that are American. But you also can't say that people who come from these cultures can't come in. Joe, you got to figure this out, buddy. All right? You can't say, "Oh no, I wanna protect everything and be all nice to everybody," and then flip it around and go, "No, but fuck that. We can't let them in." You got to make up your mind, Joe. You're holding two mutually exclusive opinions. They cannot coexist.
Like the way women are allowed to dress, or driving cars. What if you come over from Saudi Arabia and you want to kill all the women that are driving cars? Like what if you want to impart Sharia law on women that are committing adultery?
Then by your own logic, Joe, from like fucking, what are we at? Like 5 minutes ago? Not even 5 minutes removed, Joe. Yeah, no, you gotta let them do it. It's their fucking culture. We can't just say because they're from that area of the world and they hold those beliefs they can't come in. Fucking hell.
Or doing any of the things that are just really, there's no law against a girl deciding to fuck 100 guys in America. If a girl decides to like rent out a warehouse and go, hey, first 100 guys get to fuck me, come on in. Like in another country, like you could be put to death for that. And
well,
that's,
there are women
that's real.
There are women that are arrested that are sexually assaulted.
Yes.
Like when you look at what sucks is it's not like that was one story. No. There are so many stories over the years, and it's horrifying.
Scary.
But there's so many stories every year, not over the years, every year. Fucking hell, Joe is gone. I lost hope at this point. Got me to start thinking now I see him as a fucking moron. Heroes die easy these days. Yeah, see, like I'm with Joe on certain points, not with him on others. All right, the whole let states have control whether or not they want to let people smoke pot. Great. Take it out of the feds' hands. None of their business. All right, small government, fantastic. Absolutely, Joe. All right. The whole human growth hormone or the fuck it was, or hormone replacement therapy for people who are aging and because it actually does help their health. Everyone's like, no, you can't do that shit. It's wrong. Nah, man, fucking works. All right. He was discussing that with Steven Crowder. But anyway, fucking hell. Let's hear some lucid, clear thinking from good old Philly D.
So that's why I then argue, because even to the points that you're saying, there are people that are scared of that.
Well, there has to be some sort of a zero tolerance policy for subjecting other people to your ideas and beliefs.
Zero tolerance policy for subjecting zero tolerance policy for subjecting other people to your will and beliefs. But if they don't come in, they can't come in if they don't have your sets of beliefs. But you can't have any acceptance or any, allowance for making people believe what you want to believe, but you want to make them believe what you believe. Like, Joe, do you not see where this is going around in circles? You're literally circling your own argument. No, man, we got to bring in these people because it's a land of opportunity, man. I mean, we got to take them from their war-torn places of absolute bullshit. These dog shit countries that are always in civil war and blowing each other up. We got to bring them here because it's a land of opportunity. But the problem is, you can't bring them over if they have these ideologies. So you got to make them think what we think and believe what we believe. But you got to have a zero tolerance policy for making people believe what you. Goddamn, Joe, do you get it yet? Fuck.
Way, but also every culture evolves. I mean,
no, not every culture evolves. It's not guaranteed. Culture could come into existence and then be wiped out. A culture could exist its entire lifespan and never change. There have been hundreds of years now where Islamic culture has just really not shifted at all. Because their book is supposed to be the one true, unalterable word of God. You can't change it, not up for interpretation. It's a literal interpretation. Like biblical realists today who are absolutely fucked in the head to think every word of the Bible, like Kent Hovind. All right? Every word of the Bible. Nope, that's what God said. That's how it's got to be done. All right? That's how these people function, Joe. Not all of them. Hashtag not all. But these societies as a whole, all right, are run by people. And the thoughts that are maintained by the majority of the population are informed by these leaders, and these leaders believe that the fucking Quran is the one unalterable word of God. That's how it's got to be, Joe. Do you see yet how they're not compatible with Western civilization? Of course you not. Of course you not. Holy hell, this level of stupidity has broken my ability to English. Of course you don't.
Christians used to be a part of the Inquisition. I mean, they were torturing people, and they're getting people to confess to horrific crimes they never really did. They did all sorts of things to people that were non-believers.
Yep. And so that was 600 years ago in the during the Inquisition? Not mistaken. I'm just taking a guess here. So what you're saying is that if we go along the same lines, Islam's only like 600 years off from being half decent. Let's just bring them all in for like however many fucking generations that has to be until that gets done, and just deal with all the problems until then. No, Joe, you wait the fucking time. You wait until these cultures, all right, go through their own enlightenment, through their own renaissance, all right, and then you go, okay, now we can start working together. But yeah, you do have to have a zero tolerance for certain things. And you go, no, until this is what you think, you can't come in. All right? Like, no fucking honor killers allowed. No fucking whatever's allowed. Sorry, folks, them's the breaks.
That was a normal part of life in some parts of the world a long time ago.
Right.
We have to assume that kind of progress is not just isolated to Christians.
It is not isolated to any person or people. Anyone is capable, for the most part, barring like absolute medically diagnosed psychopaths, people who cannot feel pain or cannot feel emotion, to say, yeah, like your average person's capable of changing. But they're not going to change if there's not a change at the core of their belief. There's no action without motive. All right? You're not going to do something unless you have a reason to do it. Reason might be dog shit, but you need a reason to do it. And these people don't have the fucking reason to change in their areas. So let them. All right? And an enforced change is not a real change. It's just a brainwashing attempt. All right? It's like, if we just bring them here and say, no, you can't do it, and they're only not doing it because they think that it's wrong legally, and if they get caught, they'll get in shit. The second they think they don't get caught, they'll do it, Joe. If this crackdown is all they have to fear, or the only reason they have to change, then fuck it. But if the reason they have to change is that, yeah, the rest of the world won't deal with them if they don't change, that might move some people.
Not just something that one belief system can sort of embody that sort of evolution.
Except that in Christianity, Jesus says to render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, and render unto God that which is God's. he makes a claim for a secular existence, or the existence of a religious person in a secular society, and a way of doing this honestly. This, to my knowledge, is not something that is put forth in the Quran. The Quran leaves Allah as the one true ruler of all things, and that everything on this earth is his, and yada yada yada. And that, no, he's the true authority. Nobody else has any real authority unless their authority is handed down through him. Yeah, it's a small but important difference between Christianity and Islam. So until you get these people to really believe that the Quran is not the literal one true unalterable word of God, you can't get that change to happen. You see? You got to start chipping away at the foundations of the book before you can get them to change wholesale.
That this can be something that we experience in a lot of different mindsets, a lot of different ideologies. And then the opportunity to educate those people in a place where they're free might be the only way that's ever going to change.
So are you willing to accept things like the Rotherham rape gangs and the honor killings that I have seen here in my own province, much less my own country, and the attacks that we see in France and Belgium, just so some people from another country can think a little differently, maybe think a little differently? Because what it seems like right now is that entire generations are becoming more and more radicalized as time goes on, because the populations of these cultural enclaves, excuse me, are growing. They are more and more insulated.
In the echo chamber of the Middle East, where these people are growing up in these, and obviously you're talking about places with very few resources, really dangerous environments for
very few resources, but they're the most oil-rich areas in the entire world. Just a thought.
Everyone, if you're living in these incredibly impoverished Middle Eastern places where these people fleeing, I mean, if you fleeing, I mean, you've seen the videos of Aleppo, you've seen the stuff of the news. I mean, anything's better than that.
Right.
Yes, anything is better than that. So why are we not having the fucking neighboring nations taking them in? That's the whole thing. The whole thing about being a refugee is going to the first safe port of call and being like, yeah, you know what? Here, we're in a nation. There's no more war. Let's get this shit all sorted out, and then we'll go back home. Like, that's it. That's all you gotta do. Why aren't they stopping there? Why do they have to come all the way across the Atlantic? All right. I have the whole video. Like, for the cost of a trip of 5 of Canada's Globemaster, cargo jets, filled with these tents that we use to house our own troops and humanitarian aid efforts around the world, fly them there and back, we could provide homes for over 20,000 people per trip. Per trip, Joe. Instead of flying 25,000 or 25,000 people here and resettling them and paying for different, support systems and shit, we could house them in a different nation where there's not as much culture shock going on, where people around them believe what they believe, and then it'll be that much easier and quicker to move them back once the whole war is done. Why not?
Anything's better than being in a bomb zone where things are just going off left and right. And
that's actually not true, because a whole bunch of economic migrants out of the Syrian and Middle Eastern areas where these things are occurring are getting to places like Denmark and going, you know what? It's too fucking cold here. We're going back. Not kidding, Joe. Look up the stories. They go, oh, we're not getting what we thought we were going to get when we're here. Oh, we're going back. We're going home. Fuck it. We're going back. No. The war zone's better than this goddamn cold. Like, I get it, man. I've been out there in some fucking brutal Canadian weather. It ain't fun. Alright? But I would prefer this to a fucking war zone.
Suicide bombings and missiles and chaos and death and ISIS throwing people off the roof for being gay. I mean, it's just horrific.
He understands that all these things occur, and understands they all occur because of a very widespread cultural existence, a cultural values system in these regions, yet doesn't understand why it is that we might want to say, no, I'd really rather not take in a whole bunch of people from this area of the world where these cultures are so goddamn prevalent. How do you not get it, Joe? How do you not? You're like, it's so close. It's like when I hear somebody trying to sing a note, and they're not even like a full tone like, you know, sharp or flat. They're like just almost there and they're not quite getting it. It's fucking painful. It's painful, Joe. The closer you get to understanding why you're wrong, but still don't understand why you're wrong, fuck, man, it hurts my goddamn brain.
So those people that are living in that, it's almost like their life, it can't get any worse.
Exactly. So they should be able to settle for anything, much less going to one of the best countries in the Western world.
Right. They're in hell. They're literally in an apocalypse right now. If you look at a Mel Gibson movie, look at any kind of crazy Mad Max movie, how is that any different than Syria right now?
Well, they're lacking the whole like guitar players shooting fire off of giant like killer transport trucks, which is kind of bitching. But yeah, I'm with you. Other than that, yeah, sure.
I mean, it's really not. It's just we know that one of the reasons why we don't consider this the apocalypse right now is because it's not the apocalypse here in Woodland Hills. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Because it isn't the apocalypse here. It's a localized apocalypse. A low-pocalypse. Localopolypse? Lollapalooza?
You know? But it's the apocalypse in Syria.
Right.
It's the apocalypse and there's pockets of the world where things are absolutely horrific. And those areas, we're scared. Those areas are going to come here and make us the apocalypse too.
And there it is. I think I'm gonna cap it on that point because we're 8 minutes shy of an hour. But there it is. Yes, people are concerned that policies like the ones that you are proposing are going to make Western nations just as bad as the Islamic nations where all this shit's blown up. I'm going to show you a picture here. Let's see. And we'll ask you what you think if this looks like an apocalypse. All right, Joe? We'll see what you think about the looks of this kind of this sort of situation, if you will. Warning for blood and gore for anyone who's watching. It might be a little bit queasy. Some of it might pop up. This right here. Brussels explosions. What we know about the airport bombings. Yep, you got people being blown apart by bombs. These individuals are suspects, you know. This woman bleeding from the head. Oh, this guy, his legs pretty much shattered and blown apart. Whole sections of buildings bombed out. Yeah, you know, people bleeding, smoke rising from areas, ceiling tiles all falling down. Does this look like a war zone to you? Does this? How about this? Where you have to, you know, blur out dead bodies. How about this? This guy here just, you know, bleeding on the ground. Smoke and bomb debris filling the air. Soldiers having to patrol the streets. How does this look? Is this at all like what you might think a war zone could look like, Joe? No? None of it? This is in Belgium, Joe. Good old neutral Belgium. Fucking never hurt anybody. Belgium. Folks, that brings us about 54 minutes. I think it's about time to wrap this up, but I'm sorry. I can't just sit there and this video's been viewed a fucking holy fuck, over 1 million views on this one video. I know it's only 1 million views. Great scheme of things. It ain't that much on YouTube. But holy fuck, Joe. Honestly. Well, we gotta bring them all in, except they're gonna blow the shit up. But we gotta bring them in so they can blow the shit up, so they can learn why they shouldn't blow shit up. Yeah, that makes sense. Folks, this is why you don't listen to the political ramblings of celebrities. Fuck, don't even listen to the political ramblings of me. Just take the issues and start taking a deeper look at them and go, I wonder why these things are happening. Because, you know, don't be Joe. Don't be that person who can understand everything down to that last little tick, and they just can't make that last little jump. They can't make that logical connection. Thank you all for coming to the Viper Unscripted bash back at Joe Rogan. What the hell did I title this goddamn thing? Calling out Joe Rogan, bad ideas breeding bad results. Damn right. Cue the copyright strikes in 3, 2, 1.